Thanks again for joining. This was one of our most requested topics to do a deep dive webinar into, so we're really glad that we have such a great audience here today to talk about takeoffs. My name is Katie, and I'm on the product marketing team at Houzz. So I work closely with our customers to get feedback on Houzz Pro and understand how you're using the platform, and then also work really closely with our product and engineering teams to give them the feedback and make sure we're building the right products for our customers. So hopefully I've spoken with a few of you before, and for those who are providing feedback, we love to hear it, and hopefully you see it reflected in the product. So John, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, thanks, Katie. I'm on the product marketing team as well, so a lot of what you said there rings true for me. So I work hand in hand with the Takeoff team, and that's kind of my background. I've come from construction, and I've come from just helping people do with their estimating their takeoffs, and ultimately, as Katie said, your feedback has gone into informing how this product works, and like I'm hopefully going to show you now in a minute some tips and tricks either you don't know or you haven't quite seen, or maybe you just need a refresher on what the best practices are. So yeah.
Great. So before we start, we're just going to do a quick poll. We would just love to hear how you're currently doing takeoffs today, if you're doing them. So, I'm not doing takeoffs. If you're using pen and paper, an estimating software, Bluebeam, or if you're already doing them in Houzz Pro, we would love to get a sense of that. So we'll leave that open, and then John, I think you can jump in. And again, just a reminder, we will be recording this and sending it out.
Okie dokie. Thank you very much, Katie.
And John, just based on our poll, it looks like pen and paper is the #1 way, followed by not doing takeoffs, followed by Houzz Pro.
That is great stuff. Love to hear it. So for those of you guys using pen and paper, this, I think, one of the best compliments I receive on a regular basis is how simple our system is, yet effective. So a lot of the contractors that I work with, they're self-professed technophobes, and they just kind of have a bit of a fear almost of like technology itself. But once you kind of see the systems here, like as I said, ease of use is frequently like the best thing that people reference our software for, and then how it feeds into the rest of the system. But equally, it's as powerful as you need it to be. So our sweet spot is the small to medium size contractor, and it's a kind of a tool, simple to use, and hopefully we'll get through the meat of it today. I'm going to jump straight into just already having a takeoff uploaded into the system. It's fairly straightforward, and as I said, if it is something you struggle with, jump on intercom and ask one of the reps. They're very good at helping. But also down here in the question mark box, if you go up to like video tutorials or the Learn Center, it's going to bring you in here. And we've got just a whole raft of content ready for you to kind of have a look through and, see what the best practices are. And that's not just for takeoffs, that's for all of the apps that we have on Houzz. So I would definitely encourage you guys to get in there and find the content that's most relevant for you. So looking at this, what I would say is I'll run you down through it in kind of a clockwork fashion. So over here, we have just a window where you can choose your PDFs. So if you've got 100 PDFs uploaded into your PDF pages that come with the document, you'll be able to scroll down through them here. If you've got 100 PDF drawings, you may only need to use 10 of them. By hitting this pin button here, you'll be able to pin the pages that are relevant to you. So that obviously really helps. If it's 100 pages, as I said, only 10% is relevant to what you're going to be working on. A lot of it's schematics or just, writing, finishing schedules, not necessary. pin the pages, and that's going to make your life a whole lot easier. What you can do as well, and once I get a bit more meat on this, I'll show you how it's useful, is by clicking these 3 dots. You can rotate pages, obviously, if they come in sideways. Renaming pages. So again, I'm going to say this hopefully often enough to get through to you guys. By naming things and by having a clear indicators of what they are, it's going to make your life a whole lot easier down the track. Once we kind of, as I said, get a bit more meat on this page, I'll show you how that's good. So you could rename this phase 1, carpentry fit out, plumbing, whatever it is that is most relevant, you can rename it. Again, if you have guys on the team, if you come back to it in 3 months' time, and you can say carpentry fit out, that's exactly what I was looking for there. So cloning pages, that's just to give you a fresh set. So again, let's say this page was, you could use that again for your carpentry, your plumbing, your electrical takeoffs. You can clone the page, get an exact duplicate of the page, and do 2, 3, 4 separate takeoffs. And deleting a page, fairly self-explanatory. Your line width, again, I will show you how that's applicable in a moment. And then the page scale. So this is kind of really important. Houzz, we are set as 1/4 inch is equal to 1 foot. And that is, I suppose, the most common page scale we see in kind of residential construction. But when you click this button and you cycle through the drop down here, we should have pretty much all the page scales that are relevant to you. If it's not there, or I'll show you now in a minute, the find scale. By clicking the find scale, you'll be able to calibrate the plans off a known measurement, and I'll show you how you do that now. But what I recommend doing before every takeoff that you do is make a known measurement. So here's the length tool, and then you click to start and double click to finish. And there we go. You can see that that's fairly spot on. So that means that these plans are calibrated, the scale's correct, and you can proceed with confidence that everything you're doing is going to be correct, and all your material takeoffs will tally up all right. And then once in a blue moon, plans will be uploaded through another system. They'll be shrank to be sent as a smaller file, things like that. And when they get uploaded to our system, they have been altered. And this page scale might read something, completely off the charts. And say, if you were doing this measurement here, you can see here that it's 8 feet, 1.5, and then this scale measurement is 16 feet. So that's way off. And if we do a material takeoff, it's going to be considerably out. So what you can do then is hit this find scale. And what you want to do is get the longest known measurement on the plan. So here we have 62. Okay, so it's 62.9. And what that is going to do is going to calibrate the plans for us. And you can see here it's gone back to 8. So that will calibrate the plans. And I always recommend using the scale that's on the drawings themselves. Check that one out first. 1/4 inch is equal to 1 foot. Or you can see here we've a concrete takeoff, which is let me see here. Yeah, it's 1:20. So that's just here again in the drop down, and you just come down 1:20, and that should all be good. So check that out first. As I say, it's usually a mistake you only make once, because and it's usually quite noticeable if you do have the wrong questions in. So wrong scale in. So that's kind of a little bit of I suppose the housekeeping. Is there any questions there, Katie? Or
yes, we do have a few. Paul is asking, what if you don't already have a plan to use?
So what you can do is use the 3D floor planner. And that's if you're creating your own, mock-ups, and if you've got that and you're comfortable with the 3D floor planner, you can present it to your clients. If they're happy with it and you wanted to do a kind of a more detailed material takeoff, you download it into your files and photos, and then you can upload it straight into your takeoff system. So typically most people like doing the takeoffs will have some sort of architectural drawing, but you can also use the 3D floor planner there in Houzz.
Great. And then there's also a question, would you be able to show how to upload a plan to the takeoff?
Yeah. So there's a couple of ways to do it. You've got to set up a new project. So when you set up a project, you create a new project, and you can do that. I already have this one created. So, and here's where you've got your takeoffs, and here's where you can upload plans. And that's just going to take you through a straight modal where you can drag and drop files in,
Okay, great.
You can also do it from the canvas itself. Again, upload here, and you just go to your plans that are in the system, and then just double click your plans, and they'll upload into the system, and you'll be able to check them in here.
Okay, great. Just one basic question we got, and this is a good way to set the stage too. Can you just maybe explain for those who aren't doing takeoffs, what is a takeoff? Why do you use it, or when do you use it? Like, how does it help you?
Yeah, so takeoff, or a material takeoff, is literally taking the measurements off the plan. So I know a lot of people said that they're using the scale ruler and highlighter. If I want to determine how much concrete I need, how much lumber I need, how much drywall I need to do a material takeoff. So using these tools, I'm going to show you how you'll be able to get all your square footage, your linear footage, your cubic yards, and yeah. Okay,
great. I'm just looking to see. Wayne asked, what are the different formats that you can upload? Is it just PDF?
Just PDF, yeah.
Okay.
Yes, it does provide height along a linear measurement, and I'll show you how to do that now. So let's crack into the takeoff itself. Again, here's your line width. You can choose whatever you want. 2 is pretty good. Quickly, I'll run through it. So you got your rectangle, and that's very simply click, drag, and drop, and that's going to give you your area up here. And you'll see there's 621 square foot of area there. So if you're doing hardwood flooring, that would be, I suppose, a useful thing to know. Something we're going to want to do really quickly is create your groups and categories. So by clicking new group here, we can create this group. Let's put it into carpentry, and we can create a hardwood floor. Or maybe that's better in flooring, whatever. Again, this is just to give you an idea of what you can do. And when you create all of your categories, again, as I was saying, it's going to make life a lot easier for you. If you want, you can add it to your favorites. By adding it to your favorites, what that's going to do is associate it with your account. So if it's something you're going to be doing a takeoff for quite quickly, then or all of the time, then I'd recommend adding it to your favorites. And what you want to do is give it a unit of measurement, and then create that. And we've got our hardwood flooring then. And with the polygon, that also adds, gets you your area. So you click to start, click to drop a marker and change direction. And then when you're finished up with the full measurement, you double click to close the space, and then you see you've got your hardwood floor here. What we can do is also move things around. So this rectangle 2 here, it's kind of sitting out on its own. if we check these 3 dots here, we can move it to carpentry, hardwood flooring, move, and that will move in, change the color here. And what you'll see is you get the measurement here. So then the length tool. So the length tool works the same as the polygon. I'm going to get my drywall here and then internal walls, and I'll show you this is as well how you can start adding heights. So for your internal walls, you click to start, click the drop marker, change direction, and then you're just going and finding all those internal walls and marking them off here. Sorry, bear with me 2 seconds. I'll get this done as quick as possible. And you can see I'm doing it really quickly. So, you know, the more time you spend at this, the better. And the more you zoom in, the more detailed you can be and just getting exactly where you need the hardwood wall or inside walls to be. So you've done those measurements now, and let's say that I've done out the whole house, and we're all happy with this. And what you can see here is you've got 155 linear feet of internal walls. And you can check this box here and put in your height. So we'll go nice high ceilings, 11 feet, 5 inches, 6 inches. And what you then have is your total square footage of walls here. So that's how much you need to do for the say, if it's drywall, if it's painting, whatever it is. So you've got that.
Can I ask a few questions here?
Please.
Okay, so Erin is asking if you can delete groups or categories. Like, is there a way to create certain groups only for specific projects that might not appear on all projects?
So, no, not at the moment. We are bringing something like that in. What you want to do is go to your manage favorites. And here you'll see all your favorites as you've built them out. And you can add to the favorites here as well. And so this will be seen across all of your projects. So if you're only doing, say, a kind of a bespoke bathroom, maybe you don't want to add it to your favorites. You don't want to add all of the groups to your favorites, but no harm in having bathroom and then putting things into it that way. So I suppose from a favorites point of view, it's more generalized for across all of your projects. And then as you get to more bespoke projects, maybe you just want to add groups on a case-by-case basis. And you can see here, when you have your favorites, you can start to put prices in for, like, say, your concrete pour, your trenches, internal walls for your drywall, 80 cents a square foot. And when we send that to the estimate, it's going to bring that pricing through with it. So it just saves you a bit of time. And again, I suppose it will benefit you guys just to speed things up. But of course, you can change it on a per job basis once you get to the estimate, because every job is a little bit different, but maybe the client wants more expensive finishes, etc. So you can change that on a per job basis as well.
Awesome. Daniel's asking, is there a template to calculate the number of hours that you need based on the material that you measured?
Yeah, so that's coming. And as Blake knows, because he's seen the designs, I'll show you guys in a minute. So that's assemblies. And that's coming at the end of the month, start of July. So we've seen it. It's in testing. We're still working out some kinks, but I'm really looking forward to getting that out the door. But that will allow you to calculate hours based off of square footage rate.
Okay, great. And then Karen asked if you can show a way to organize the overall spreadsheet. I think she's probably referring to this or what you were showing previously.
Yeah. So I suppose if you have your favorites here, you can drag and drop them. So you put drywall under flooring or carpentry above drywall. However they appear here in your favorites is how they're going to appear on that estimate sheet. And if you're using the Excel template, they should appear in that format as well, I believe.
Okay. Great. We've had a few questions around if you can convert the blueprint or the takeoff into a 3D rendering.
No, you cannot do that. What you can do is upload the plans to the 3D rendering, the 3D floor planner, and you can trace the outline of them. But at the moment, it's not just going to generate. So you can just go and trace the outline very accurately and then put in your own stuff, whatever it might be, beds, wardrobes, washing machines, etc.
Great. There was one question from Allison, if we can review how to scan to get started. So I just want to clarify, the scan is for the 3D room planner. So if you're not familiar with that, I'll post some videos in here as well. You can use that to scan a room on your phone to generate a first version of a 3D floor plan. But then the Takeoffs is a different tool that we have as well.
Yeah. For this box here as well, you can put in things like your roof pitch, a depth you can put in for, say, linear meters, or linear feet. You obviously get square foot, and if you add a depth to that, you get cubic yards. So if you needed to do a concrete pour, soil removal, again, you'll understand how much concrete yards you're going to need to remove or put in, and then a roof pitch as well. So if you're doing a roofing takeoff, you can put your pitches in here as well. Your count feature kind of does what it says on the tin. So basically, you've got, again, a very basic example, but we're just going to go around counting doors. And again, if you know it's going to cost you $100 to hang a door, well, then your count here is quite easy in carpentry. Doors is a very simple example, but if you're thinking of things like power outlets, data points over a 3-4 story building, it gets fairly difficult to remember everything. And what I should say as well is, if you have groups and they're in their carpentry category, and you're doing those 10 pages out of the 100, and you're counting doors on 5 of those 10 pages, once you're finished, you can merge all of the groups together to get project totals. So if you've got 10 doors on this floor, 12 on the next, and 8 on the top floor, then you'll merge that together for project totals, and it just gives you really good quick access to what you're going to need, as well as what I say on this. And for people using the pen and paper, like, how many times have you sat down after dinner on a Sunday to just get a head start on the week, start a little bit of a takeoff, and then when you get back to the office on Wednesday, you kind of forget, what did I measure, what didn't I measure? When you're doing it with a digital tool like ours, you come back in, you log into your Houzz Pro account, and everything is there. Everything is available for you. You can see exactly what you've done and where you left off. Take a few minutes to reorientate yourself with the plans and go again. And that also applies for when you win a job. In 12 weeks' time, the client comes back to you. You've already priced 10 other jobs in the time it's taking them to come back and say, perfect, we're ready to go. You just, again, open up your account, go in, check out what's going on in the measurements drawer, see everything that you've done here, and a really good way to I suppose reorientate yourself to plans and be comfortable with what you've quoted originally.
John, we've gotten a few questions about wallpaper. Can you talk about how you use for wallpaper?
Yeah, so it's the same as the internal walls here. So if you've got, you're doing your length measurement and you're just going around and getting all of your internal walls, you'll then be able to understand how much square footage of walls need to be papered, and you can go ahead and apply that. And again, I'll jump into it in a moment, but with the assemblies, once the assemblies gets launched at the end of the month, you'll be able to put in how many rows do I need, how much taping do I need, how much glue do I need per square foot of wallpaper, of walls, and you'll be able to just get a quick order list as a result of that. So I'll show you that in a minute. And then I suppose I'll stick with the here. What I do as well is hit the annotation feature, the annote feature. And what this does is it allows you to basically write on the plans and communicate with whoever it is, be it people who work for you, your clients, or subcontractors. Just put on the plans like using XYZ material here. It's a little bit small. Let's beef it up a bit. And let's put an arrow to exactly what we're talking about. What this will do is it just allows you to really communicate with whoever it is and say, I've written some clarifications on the marked up drawings. Can you just confirm that you've seen them? And we're going to put the floor in that room and not in the attic. And it's just another way that people are able to just, I suppose, be clear. If you can avoid misunderstandings before you get on site, it's usually a lot less expensive. That's typically what I've found. And then this is movable around. You can make it bigger, wider, whatever you want. So,
John, can the annotations be done on the mobile app or only on desktop?
So it's only on desktop at the moment. You have access to all of the work that you've done on the mobile app, but it's just not it doesn't work on the mobile app at the moment. So we do have things in the Pipeworks that is going to let you communicate with your team members on the mobile app, but that will only be for clarifications. You can say go in and check out this takeoff and clarify those annotations, but you won't be able to actually do it. Good thought though. So we might bring it in. And that's the toolbar. The deduct tool as well. Typically we see this for, say, an elevation. You can use the deduct tool to basically deduct from any area. So again, I'm just going to use it here, and you'll see that this area is deducted out of that ultimate shape. So again, if you have elevations, you've got windows and doors, you can just keep deducting down through them and taking them out, or whatever it is that you do need to deduct. Currently, it only works in the drag and drop, but again, we're in the process of creating a deduct tool for the polygon, so stay tuned for that. So that is all of the tools pretty much. Any kind of further questions on them?
Yeah, let's see. Can you show again how you get to the manage favorites and group tab?
It's just up here, top of the screen, manage favorites, and this will open up. And from here, you can add new. So like add new category. What am I missing? Electrical. And then you just click on the electrical and it opens up there. And then we start adding groups into it. Data points. Give it a color. Nice purple data points. And then we're going to use this as a count. So here's what you can do at the moment. You got count, linear feet, square feet, and cubic yards. So this will be a count. So it's just literally dropping those on the canvas. And you can also change the icon. So it's going to be a square. And if you know how much a data point is going to cost you to put in, it's 250, 2.50, and that will then pull through to the estimate. And you can just save and close that, and it should be ready for you to go in your accounts. Electrical data point. So yeah, and any other there, Katie, or?
Yes, let's see. You may have already explained this with deductions, but Rebecca asked, what if only a portion of the wall is being wallpapered? Would you use deductions for that or something else?
So you would need to know that. You'd need to know what portion. So if it's like halfway up or the full way up. Yeah. So if you knew where the wall was being wallpapered, let's take this room for example. And we were going from here to here that was being wallpapered. And then you can just stop it there. So it's just adding these two in. I'm not sure if that's answering your question. Or maybe only half the wall is getting wallpapered. So in which case you just half the height of the wall. So that would be on the finishing schedule, I suppose. And I suppose it'd be a good thing for you to clarify, like what's only half of it being wallpapered. So yeah, I hope I'm answering that in some way.
Yes. A few more questions around like scanning a plan and uploading it. Maybe if you could just point out one more time where you can upload.
So there's two places to upload. From once you're in your project, here's your takeoffs page, and you can upload plans. And this is basically anything that you've uploaded to your files and photos. If it's a PDF document, you'll be able to upload it, or you can upload the files here and you can just go to whatever works for you, open them up, and they'll load up. And once they're loaded, they'll go to the takeoff canvas.
Okay, great. Can you do takeoffs from elevations? Like someone's asking to the point of the partial wallpaper or tile?
Yeah, you can upload elevations. Test imperial. And then so when you upload the elevations, yeah, you can just use it as it's coming in. And they'll upload shortly. Test plans imperial. Oh, sorry about that, but here's the elevations. Hello. And then when you're running through the elevations, so it's just not the wallpaper that we're looking for here. You wouldn't get this on this elevation plan, but if you had an elevation of a house that had a wallpaper finishing, you'd be able to do it here. And to kind of give you an idea of what the deduction tool can do is just basically you're going down, you're taking out any windows and doors that are on the house there. But the deduction tool you don't deduct that from the wallpaper necessarily on this one, unless I'm not sure what sort of plans you guys have are looking at. So.
Okay. Rebecca asked, can you add subcategories, like for the doors, for instance, if you have a few different height doors?
Yeah. So Absolutely. This is super basic, but I mean, you can go in and have a category doors, and then your group is door A, and another group door B, another group door C, and then you can put in descriptions on them as well. So this is what the assemblies is going to look like. Again, it's coming to you very soon. So if you've got your door here, again, be as specific as you like on what the name of this is. It's going into your category windows and doors. You can put a description in. You can upload a photo of that door. And what you can then do is put in your trim, how many handles you need, how much varnish, how many hinges you need per door, and then ultimately your labor per door. So if you know it's going to take you 30 minutes to hang a door, you can put in 0.5 there, and then that will multiply everything out. And if we count 10 doors, it's going to cost you $1,040 to hang those 10 doors. It's going to tell you you're going to need 300 minutes to hang those doors, and hopefully that'll work it out in hours for you, faster than I can. How many hinges you need, and that's just a straight order list that you will then be able to send to your suppliers, and it kind of gives you a granularity that is going to make things super clear for you, which you don't need to show to the clients. They don't need to know that it's $4 per hinge. What they want to know is it's $104 per door. So this is coming out at the end of the month, and you can build out your assemblies. We'll have some templated for you, but that's really going to speed things up when you get to the estimating phase.
Awesome. Can you show how to do a framing takeoff?
Yeah. Well, without getting into too much detail on it, so you're really going to need the assemblies for the framing to understand the rest of that. So, how many studs do you need per linear foot? How much top plate you need? That is a very case-by-case basis. But basically, these assemblies will allow you to do that wherever they are. So if we were doing framing here, you would have studs, top plates, bottom plates, labor. And then you can go into building that out per square foot or per linear foot. You'll be able to determine how many studs you need, how much lengths of timber you need, how many screws you need per stud, things like that. So I wouldn't be great at, say, doing a framing takeoff here, but once that comes out, it's going to make life a lot easier, and then you'll be able to understand basically how much material you need for a framing takeoff. And things are different from state to state, so it's just understanding what the regulations are where you guys are and what's needed to be done. Usually it specifies it in the plan. So yeah, it's, I suppose, easy when you know how, but I think once you kind of get those assemblies up and running, it should be a lot easier.
Awesome. Yes, looking forward to that. We just have a few more questions from Gina. Can you add the dimensions without using the lines? I think she's asking if there's another way to add dimensions.
No, you need a measurement to add the dimensions. So no, you would need to use one of the tools to add a dimension to it.
Okay, great. And then question from Heather: what's the difference between a category and a group?
So your category, I'll show you when we get to the estimate here, but your category is what it's going to sit under. So categories could be anything. Again, it's just how you prefer to work. What I've done them out in terms of, say, construction is very much concrete, carpentry, and then the groups that make up those categories. So that could be like phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, whatever way you're comfortable with working. So when you get to the estimate phase, you'll see carpentry as a category, and then you will be able to see what your total for your carpentry is. So again, if you want to send your clients kind of a high level thing, and you can see, well, the carpentry is going to cost us $20,000, and then you don't necessarily want to show them the groups. That's kind of how we're breaking that up.
Awesome. Okay, I think we actually covered most of the questions there. Again, there were some questions on 3D, but I did put a link in the chat to a recent webinar that we did on 3D if you have more questions there.
Perfect. So that is kind of the tools and everything. Now, I suppose the measurements drawer, as we call it, if you guys want more space, you can collapse the measurements drawer and that side panel, and it just gives you more space to work with. So always remember that. What you can also do is if this is getting a little bit cluttered, we have just released the ability to hide things. So you can hide entire categories by clicking the eye icon, and that's going to make everything invisible on the canvas. Everything is still here, but no longer you can see it. But you can then check the eye icon and it comes back. Or maybe we just want to get rid of the hardwood floor. So what we want to do there is check these 3 dots and go to hide layer. So that's how you hide things. Really handy. Just if you need that extra space. Obviously that was quite cluttering. Show layer, and it'll come back. What you can also do is by checking this box, you can duplicate a measurement. So let's say our hardwood flooring, we duplicate it, and that becomes our ceiling measurement. So that could be for our painting. Check the 3 dots, move to, do I have painting? Let's put it into paint. And I can move it into paint. So what that's going to do is it's just going to give me 2 material takeoffs with 1 measurement. So it just allows you to work a little bit faster and a bit smarter with it. So you can duplicate things, and you can also get the perimeter of areas as well. So check the box here, and you can get that perimeter. And for your ceiling copy, you see here's 279 linear foot, and we can call that molding. Check it again, duplicate it. This can be your baseboard, or again, you can put your walls here as well, like internal walls. I've already done the internal walls in drywall, but just to give you an example. And then what you can do is add a height to it, 10 feet, 6 inches. And you've just got, it's just making things a little bit faster. And then you can continue to add to these groups. And you can, that's the trick.
We did have, are you ready for one more question?
Yeah, far away.
Okay. Another request to review the wall covering just once again, like where you can put in the wall heights, where you can add, if a pattern's repeating, for instance.
You can't do it if we don't have it if there's a pattern repeating, and we don't have, say, for flooring, like the lay direction. So that's feedback that we are getting. We're looking at it. It's not in the immediate roadmap, but it's definitely being talked about. So we don't have like pattern repeating built into the takeoffs just yet.
Okay.
And yes, that's kind of everything that you can do with the measurements. Again, really encourage you guys to be as detailed as you want on the naming of these things. Just so, as I said, when you come back after 6 months, you can see that's the product code. So for electrical and plumbing, when you duplicate a group, see also to be used for floors. Yeah. That's right, Aaron. So yeah, that's exactly how that works. And then I suppose electrical and plumbing, you can think about it. You can use the length for to get your cable runs. We don't have a droop on it though, so that is something again we're working on that we could put in for that. And then electricians use the count feature fairly regularly. They are our power users, but I think they only use the count tool, but they love it. And I think I did mention it, but it's definitely worth reiterating. When you save 2 files, you're going to generate those marked up PDFs. And what that's going to do is it's going to send you a PDF with a legend and basically all the work that you've done here in a PDF. And you can send that to contractors, clients, whatever. And if you've got those notes on it, you can say, please have a look at the notes. And this is basically what we're intending. So that will be in your files and photos. It downloads into files and photos here. So that's where you'll find that PDF. And you can send it directly to the client, or you can download it yourself, print it off, whatever works.
Great. Can you just show again where you input the exact wall height?
You check this box in the center of the console, in the center of the measurements drawer, and this will bring up the add dimensions. So you can put in your height here, your depth, again, if that's for concrete, or the pitch of a roof. For a lot of our drywall contractors, we're bringing in, not specific to drywall, but what you're going to be able to do is multiply this measurement here. So if you're doubling up walls, you're going to be able to do it in here. That feature is due for release in the next week or two, so should be good. And what I would do is if you check this box here, and this is what I was naming, you can clone a page, with measurements. No, I want a fresh page. And again, this is where we rename this carpentry. And then we can rename the other page plumbing, whatever it is. And that's going to just, again, make lives a lot easier. And yeah, go from there.
Great. I think Aaron's follow-up question was how you can move an item from a current, where'd that go? From a current category to a new category.
So if you just check the box here next to any of your measurements, and then move over to the 3 dots, and you got your move to here. And then you just scroll down between what categories you have or what groups you have, and you can move it that way, or else you can create a new category here.
Okay, awesome.
What I'll very quickly show you, kind of where we're coming up on time, but we have also introduced the automate. This is really going to help with very kind of simplified area measurements, length measurements, and simple counts. So it works by basically click and shoot. And let me see here. I'll put in flooring again. So we're going to do all this as tiled. Just by hovering over it, it's going to read those areas, and you can just click, and it's going to come in as tiled here. So just that's kind of what it's doing. It's just going around and clicking those areas. And yeah, that's how the automate feature works. It works the same for the length. Again, carpentry, let's go framing. It should be able to pick up these walls here, and just by simply hovering over them and clicking, you'll get your length measurements. And that's how the automate feature works. It also works for count, but we're training the model up to be better on count. So it'll work for some counts. Let's try us on door. Carpentry doors, and it'll pick up all the symbols for doors. So again, it's definitely worth going around and checking that it nailed everything there. And if you see that there's something that hasn't worked, you can just hit the manual and drop a door in there as well. So it should speed things up again for simple measurements. It's really saving contractors a lot of time.
Great, awesome. Thank you everyone for all these questions. I'm just looking through. Is there anything else, John, you wanted to cover? I think we covered most of the questions here.
Great. I suppose, so that is, I suppose, the first step in getting a quote out. If you're doing residential new builds and a lot of remodels, you can then hit review and estimate. Once you're happy you've got everything done, by hitting review and estimate, you can send it to the estimates page where you can upload all of your company information, like logos, everything that goes with it, and send those estimates to your clients.
Great. This is one question from Tarek, not as much directly on takeoffs, but is there a way that you could increase the price of all your materials or labor at the beginning of the year to account for inflation, or do you have to go into each individual assembly to increase the cost there?
Yeah, so I suppose you can do it in your templates, but you will need to, go in and increase the cost. I don't think you can just do it by like 20%. So you can't just do it by 20%. But if you have a template set up, typically a lot of the pros that I'm dealing with are dealing with 2, 3, maybe 4 types of projects. Might be a remodel, might be a kitchen remodel or a new build, something like that. When you build out your templates, you can build out as a kitchen and bath remodel. By going into that template, you will then be able to increase all of your prices, but you do need to go into it and increase those prices. So basically, you're going to have to come in here and say, okay, we're going to put labor cost in there of 200. By updating your template, you can just apply it to any job going forward. So maybe at the start of the year, it might be a little bit of a legwork again, but there's currently no way to say just up it by 10%.
Great. Let's see, question from Elizabeth. We can't find the auto button on our screen to quickly calculate the area.
So it will work for most of the plans, and how you can tell that it's automated, is being received and is being picked up, is that there's a blue circle around the PDF box. I'll show you here. So the more complex the plans go, and plans that have actually come from our 3D floor planner are less inclined to pick it up, but the more complex the plans get, the more we haven't trained up the machines yet, but they're getting better like by the hour. So keep coming back and checking in on it, because it is getting considerably better. View by category. So this is just what it looks like when you send it to the estimate, and you can see everything here. If it has dollar value, it will have pulled it through from the estimate, and it'll got you there. And then when you send, you can preview your send, and this is where you can determine what if anything, the clients see. So you can just bring everything down to the totals, and that's what I was kind of referencing. If you only want to send your categories, you can certainly do that, just not to give people a kind of an in-depth view of what you've done. Maybe you just want to send them a preliminary, but have a much better idea for yourself. So that is takeoffs from cradle to grave, getting it, uploading it, maybe didn't go over the uploading as much, but then ultimately to sending out an estimate to your network. So yeah, that's
awesome.
where we are.
Thank you. This was great. Thank you so much for all the questions. Hopefully this really helped you become more comfortable using takeoffs. You should receive the recording in your inbox either later today or tomorrow. And then we're also continuing to do lots of webinars. So, sign up for future ones so you can keep getting really in-depth views into our product and have your questions and feedback addressed. So thanks, everyone. Hope you have a great day.